I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about Khamzat Chimaev reiterates desire to fight with a plea to the UFC. He names two potential events. Okay, hold on. Let me see what happens here. Let me get this pop up out of here real quick. At some point, it has to disappear. There we go. UFC welterweight, UFC middleweight contender. Who knows? Khamzat Chimaev itch to compete is seemingly only getting more prominent. Good. It's been close to 9 months, literally, since the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev was last seen in the octagon. He extended his perfect record at UFC 279 last September 2022 with a first round submission victory catchweight fight versus Kevin Holland. Even though he was supposed to fight Nate Diaz, Khamzat Chimaev he came in overweight by like 7-8 pounds. So he ended up fighting Kevin Holland in the co-main event at a catchweight fight. It was so much drama. Despite the win, Khamzat Chimaev's stock appeared to take a hit owing to the build-up, which saw a mammoth weight miss lead to cancellation of his planned main event pay-per-view headliner against Nathan Diaz and a mass adjustment to the main card of UFC 279. In the aftermath, talks surrounded the current number 4th ranked UFC welterweight future, with many predicting a forced move to middleweight following his indiscretion on the scale. Since then, however, there has been very, very little clarification about plans for Chimaev from the UFC and from Chimaev, with talks of a clash against Paulo Costa dissipating, with mutual fight interest from Kamaru Usman receiving a less than positive response from UFC President Dana White. This story is just so ridiculous. With that, Khamzat Chimaev remains without a dance partner and without a return date on his calendar, something that he appears to be extremely frustrated by. Khamzat Chimaev requests a fight open to 2 locations. Okay, this is interesting. This could be something. Khamzat Chimaev recently took to social media to reiterate his desire to compete, pleading with the UFC to book his long-awaited octagon combat. In a tweet, Khamzat Chimaev once again named the upcoming UFC 294 event in Abu Dhabi as a possible date, but he also expressed interest in heading to the French capital for the first UFC Paris on September 2nd. What? Oh man, I'm sorry about okay, let me just see. I'm ready to fight in Paris, ready to fight after in Abu Dhabi. Let me smash somebody at UFC, Khamzat Chimaev wrote. After an impressive victory over Gilbert Burns in one of the best fights of 2022, Khamzat Chimaev was expected to be in contention for a shot at the welterweight gold with a win against Nathan Diaz at UFC 279. That was not, with that not coming to fruition, Khamzat Chimaev now sits behind both Colby Covington and Bilal Muhammad, and well, maybe not, but he's still behind. He should be behind Kamaru Usman, also in the pecking order at UFC welterweight division. It remains to be seen whether he'll look to reestablish himself in the 170 title picture at 170 pounds, or make good on his confidence in dethroning Israel Adesanya with a middleweight move upon his return. Okay, that was it. Khamzat Chimaev, man. We get a lot of complaints about doing any stories about Khamzat Chimaev for the last year, because I thought this is going to be like a story you read through it and there's no names, there's no contenders, there's no welterweight, is it a middleweight? This is just another disappointing story from Khamzat Chimaev. It's so frustrating, even though I am a MMA casual, it's just frustrating to see this with Khamzat Chimaev. We really have not gotten one good reason as to why Khamzat Chimaev has not fought a fight since last September, 9 months ago, right? Like, He defeated Kevin Holland in the first round. It was a first round, basically a flawless victory. I believe it was a submission victory, right, over Kevin Holland. But we haven't heard anything from Khamzat Chimaev since then. I don't know. It seems like to me, as an MMA casual, so don't quote me, it just seems like to me the UFC does not want to book Khamzat Chimaev for any welterweight fight after he missed weight for the Nate Diaz UFC 279 fight. Like I don't know why. It just seems like they do not want to do it. I would prefer to see Khamzat Chimaev fight Israel Adesanya. That's what I thought this story was going to be. And it's crazy because it's like he picked both events before and after Israel Adesanya. Like, okay, if he wants to fight in Paris, and on the Paris card, which is September 3rd, who is he going to fight? Is it Kamal Usman? And then if he fights in Abu Dhabi, is he going to fight in the welterweight division? Does he want to fight, does he want to be the backup for Leon Edwards versus Kobe Covington? Is he going to go to the middleweight division? Israel Adesanya still seems like he does not have a dance partner. Maybe it could be Jared Cannonier after a very impressive victory over Marvin Victori. But it just, that'll be Cannonier's second fight versus Israel Adesanya. So it's just like, why not just make Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev, right? UFC is going to have a card in, I believe, Australia in September, right? Like, just make Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev in a middleweight division. Like, just make it. Who cares? We don't care. It just seems like the best fight to make. Or the UFC is maybe looking at making, Israel Adesanya versus Jamal Hill for the UFC light heavyweight belt. I don't know. It's really frustrating. The UFC this year, they started off the year really, really strong. John Jones won. Islam Makhachev won. Israel Adesanya won. The year started off great. Since then, I don't know what's going on. We still don't know when Leon Edwards is going to fight Kobe Covington for the welterweight title. We still don't know when Conor McGregor is going to fight Michael Chandler. We have no idea if that fight even is going to happen. We still haven't heard anything about John Jones and Stipe Miocic. John Jones, he was in the PFL last weekend. It looks like he's trying to make a fight with Francis Ngannou. So I don't, there's a lot of fights the UFC will be making at the end of this year, so I'm going to hold criticism for that, but they have to come out and just give us what we all want. One, what's going on with Chimaev, and when is he going to fight? Is he in a middleweight? Is he in a welterweight division? It's very simple. Like, it won't take that much time to just figure this out. Maybe they're waiting for UFC 290. I believe that's UFC 290, the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Dracus du Plessis. I feel like after that fight, a lot of dominoes, as they would say, it's going to fall. So that fight is only a few weeks away. So, then we're going to figure out, what's going to happen for the middleweight championship, who Israel Adesanya is going to fight. Sooner than later, we're going to figure out Kobe Covington versus Leon Edwards. Is that fight going to be in Abu Dhabi? Islam Makhachev, clearly he wants to fight in Abu Dhabi. He wants to defend his title. Most likely that fight will be Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. So we have that. That will most likely be the headliner, even though it's lightweight. I don't think they would make Kobe Covington versus Leon Edwards the headliner fight in Abu Dhabi, right? But I heard in Leon Edwards, he wants that fight in Abu Dhabi. So maybe that fight will happen there. Israel Adesanya is still open. Khamzat Chimaev, Kamal Usman, are they going to make Kamal Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev in Paris? That would be interesting. That would be a fun fight. But let me know your opinion of this story. Who do you want to see Khamzat Chimaev fight next? Do you want to see him fight in the welterweight division? Do you want to see him fight in the middleweight division? Or are you just so tired of the Khamzat Chimaev stuff? Like, I'm not, like I said, I'm an MMA casual, but, I'm still enjoying it. Just looking forward to when they finally make the announcement about who Khamzat Chimaev will be fighting next. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about Khamzat Chimaev reiterates his desire with a plea to the UFC, right? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button. And please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.